everybody. Welcome to another episode of Ready Speaker. I am your host, Roland Urucci. Thank you for joining me again. And today's episode is, and I stumbled a little bit, today's episode is a film review. And it's a Netflix film, so it's still a film. And it is Luther, the Fallen Son. This is based on a character created by Neil Cross. I think there's 5 seasons of this that have screened on the BBC. Somewhere that it's set in London. And so it's a cop who, I guess the character is Luther, and it's a cop who will do anything to get his criminal. So be it force, be it, he's a troubled soul, all this and that. And I guess this is one of one of the films. I think there are a couple. There's one before, but definitely 5 seasons of show for this. So give it a watch if you want to go back into the season. Into the season show, the streaming series. But we're talking about the movie right now, and I've never seen any of the series episodes. I've only watched this, and this is my review of what I felt about this film as a standalone. And I'll be honest with you, a little disappointed. I like Elba's work generally. I think he has great presence on screen. He has great delivery. There's a certain energy and temperament about him that really brings a character to life. I think in this, the story is being forced into like a franchise area. Maybe it's almost that they're trying to make him James Bond, but not make him James Bond. There's even a martini joke in it. So I think that's part of this. The only thing that really turns me off from this series, or the film, at least on the standalone, I tried to watch a series. I really didn't feel like I needed to watch it. The thing that really turns me off about this show, or this film, is that it's trying so hard to be that troubled cop that will do anything to get the criminal because it's such a good cop deep down. And I didn't really get it in this, and I don't really need to get it anymore. I think I'm done with that. It's very Dirty Harry-esque with a little bit of tormented soul in it, and I think that's where it lost me. He's a cop who's done horrible things to people, be they criminals or not, and you never know. And what it did show me in the series is that actually police officers can't do their job, at least in this film. That everyone's tripping over themselves, and you have who else in this? So you have Idris Elba, you have Cynthia Erivo, and you have Andy Serkis, and Dermot Crowley. Those are the main people in this that really moved the story along. So Idris is from the show. I think Dermot's also from the TV series. Andy Serkis, he's coming to his own right now as his villain character. It tries to be a little Sherlock Holmes. It tries to be a little bit like Holmes versus Moriarty. It just, to me, it just feels like it's so forced that it's not entertaining. That I don't really like anybody, and even the locations. It's shot mostly in London, I assume. I'm not quite sure where in the UK, but it's shot in the UK. And then they go to like a snow-capped area that's supposedly within Great Britain, and I don't know where that is either. So I'm a little lost at how it's trying to build itself up as like this world player when it's a small world and of a police officer. And I think that's my problem probably with it. Another one of my problems with it, that is trying to build it up as a small player in a very big pond, small fish in a very, very big pond. That doesn't work for me. And I guess that's what works with James Bond, is that he's a big fish in a big pond. He's not a small fish, he's a big fish. Everybody knows about him. No one knows who this guy is. No one really cares who this guy is. I don't understand why the evil thing is really happening. It's something that I'm just a little bit confused about. So it's not, I mean, if you like Idris, you can definitely watch it. If you like Andy Serkis, you can watch it. I prefer him in some other films. I've seen him as villains in a lot of stuff, and I think he has some great delivery and some great physicality. Obviously, we all know him from the things he's done, not with his face, but with his body and his voice and all these great things. I just don't really need to understand this story. It's almost like a Hannibal series, which was a great series a few years back. That was on U.S. network TV. It's trying to be a little bit like that. It's trying to be a little bit of everything. And I think that's probably why I'm not that happy with it. And like I said, it's a rehashing of Dirty Harry that fell out of favor a long, long time ago. And I don't know if I can even watch Dirty Harry again. The production value is good here, but I don't really need to know all the bad things that someone can do even if it's for right reasons. I think we're beyond that a little bit, and we're judging that a little differently now, and we're not making heroes such as the Luther character is infallible with cause. So his infallibility is with cause. He's fallible, but or fallible with cause. So he's fallible with cause. He can be a person who does evil things for the right reason. And I think that's a weird sort of genre that I think we need to get away from. I think it's if you're going to be world saving character, let it be world saving, be on that platform, whatever you have to get in there. I don't know, just fall into it, I guess. But to be the only person who kind of does stuff right, yet his mistakes actually cause deaths. So that's the funny thing when you watch it, like his mistakes of him trying his effort to really, really push some narrative, some story along to get where he needs to be to do what the character wants to do, because they feel they're the only person who can do it, causes a lot of harm, like a lot of collateral damage. Some of it friendly fire. So you have all these moments where they believe in this guy. It's like, no, you can do this. You're the only one. I just don't feel that energy with it. I don't know if it's really worth a watch. IMDb, it's a Netflix film. It's a Netflix film. Not that it means much. It's rated 6.5. I don't even know if it warrants a 6.5. He walks very much like a brawler. His character isn't a world stage sort of character to me. And even at the end, when you sort of like, watch into it, it's I don't know why he's a role player. I just don't know why. With this ability to sort of understand criminals' minds and to go after people, I just don't know why it has to be perpetually out there. And I mean, I'm showing. I showed the trailer and everything, and you can see part of it that it's very dramatic. It's very over the top. It's very. I don't know. It's a formula that I just don't enjoy anymore. It's a formula that I don't think is really relevant anymore. I think we have this hero worship of these kind of characters that probably has fallen out of favor, at least for me. I like entertainment. I just don't like to see the troubled soul who has to essentially get like 30, 40 people killed to save that one person. And I don't know if that matters anymore. Does the needs of the one, push aside, the needs of the many? And I don't know if that's something that we really ever really discussed in film or the genre or anything, or anybody even watch and discuss within their circle of people. And sometimes it's a weird thing to me when I see that in a film where the needs of the one sort of just squashes the quality of life, the lives of others, and there's no balance of that. And that's probably what this film is all about for me too, is that the balance is kind of wrong, very dismissive. Police work, you never go in alone. So there's cops perpetually through this going in alone, doing things. You never go in alone. If you have a tip, you investigate the tip. So if you get a tip and you're dismissive of it, it's the police work is like shoddy, in my opinion. There's definitely a hero, an elder mentor played, and that's Martin Schenk, and that's played by Dermot Crowley. He's the mentor, so he's the elder statesman who's helping out Luther in this, and he's his conscience, I guess, is a good way to look at it. And everyone, he's very observant, and also another one who just by looking at somebody knows if they're lying. And everybody else is kind of a douche, and very self-centered and very much about themselves, and that's the bulk of it. I don't know if anybody's really a good person in this. So you can give it a watch. It's very British. It's shot in American style. It's a British story. It's an American story shot in American style by a, I guess, British crew and cast. So I don't know if that jives that much. There's certain things American TV or filmmaking can't do because it's very British, and it's definitely a British delivery, British style, and we enjoy those films. And there's certain things that a British team cannot do that's very American. They just don't have that aesthetic, that tempo, that rhythm. And that's what I kind of felt with this, was that the rhythm was sort of off, and it's not really worth a watch. I mean, you can, if you like the character, maybe you like the series, maybe you like Andy, maybe you like Idris, and you're impressed by the work and you want to watch everything they do. I just don't see a reason to really watch this film. So I watched it for you. I got it out of the way. You can try and watch it, but it reads much more like a TV show than a film. It didn't need to be. I know it's based on a TV show. It didn't need to be the length it was. I don't need the Bond-esque sort of element to it. And again, to me, it's like, hey, either he should be Bond. And I'm going to write a story that's Bond-like. And this is almost like an origin story of Bond. That's what it felt like at the end. It was an origin story of Bond, of how Bond is a character, and that's replaceable. It's just a title and a name, and and people just get renamed that as because they have the skill set required by the British government to excel at this type of engagement with enemies of the world. And it's always enemies of the world. And that's also a problem I have, is when films are just enemies of the world and people just do things for the sake of burning shit down or I don't know. I mean, there's some elements to it that I think are interesting, but if we really want to dissect it of the cause and this and that, but it felt very forced. And like I said, I think it has a message that's different than actually the message of the story. I think it's really, hey, we can make him a Bond-like character, and that's what he should be. And why haven't we done that already? So maybe that's it. I don't know. All right. Okay. Well, that's it. That's my review. All the best. Come by again if you want to talk about it. Maybe you want to talk about this movie. Maybe you want to talk about any movie. I don't care. Let's just talk. Or a streaming series. Hell, you want to talk about even the idea of the sense of heroes and what are they in today's age. Love to even talk about that. Love having conversation. So just send me a message and I'll have you on and we can chat it up for a little bit. It might be longer than 10 or 15 minutes, but I guarantee it'll be an interesting conversation. So it's not win me over, it's let's have a dialogue. That's what I'd love to do. All right, all the best. Roland DeRucci from Ready Speaker. Bye.